For centuries, people have shared their thoughts, their feelings, their hopes, delights and love with letters. And little by little, letters have disappeared from people's lives for more efficient and fastest ways to share their news. And everybody has forgotten the joy of writing letters to a friend or loved one, to wait for them, to receive them or to open them. But letters were said to be too slow, took too much time to write, and so well-crafted sentences, carefully folded paper, scented envelopes were replaced by short sentences, little logos on screen, and nobody had the time to read a real sentence anyway anymore. The message had to go straight to the point, and all refinement and delicacy were completely gone. And it's a shame, as writing a real letter allows us to slow down, to be present in the moment and to the person we are writing to. It takes time and focus and develop patience, as you need to be patient to receive your reply, and our modern world is slowly but surely forgetting all about patience. But people say that emails, after all, are just digital versions of these letters. No, they are not. They are far from it. Letters are real. You can touch them. They have been written by hand and showed care and attention. They encapsulate a little part of the sender. They reveal so much more about the sender than digital messages. The writing alone in a letter can give us a lot of information about the mood, the care, the temper of the sender. The spelling and grammar mistakes betray other things, but they can also reveal the general health of your correspondent, as testifies this letter written on November 1800 by the author of Les Liaisons Dangereuses, Choderlos de Laclos, to his wife. He writes, "You must forgive this disgusting stain. If I could have been decided to leave you, I would have blown my nose on time." As you can see, we are far from Valmont here. Let's open the book about good manners, published by Liselott in 1915, and hear what she says about letters. She writes, "Letters are part of ourselves. They are part of our intellectual, moral and physical being. Do we think about that when we randomly, carelessly scrawl a few words on paper?" She continues, "I'm convinced that there are thousands of circumstances in life when those who should write don't write. And they should to support a friendship, to serve, to comfort, or to share joy." She talks a lot about writing paper. You can choose your own color, your format, your perfume. Perfume has to be very light. You can choose among any floral scents: violet, lily of the valley, carnation, heliotrope. The paper has to be neatly folded, and it has to be placed in a letter which has exactly the same size. Nothing is more vulgar than a small letter which dances and moves in all directions in a large envelope. And the envelope has to be of the same color than the paper, of course. An elegant woman with a good taste can't be common. Without trying to be noticed by some sort of eccentricity, she has to avoid at all costs the banality, which would make her look like all other women. She has to be unique. She needs her own wax seal, which defines her. The writing paper she uses is almost a revelation. Its shape, its color, its ornament has to speak loud. A neat woman will adapt her writing paper to her temper, her mood, her taste, to the circumstances, and to the person she's writing to. Now that you have a beautiful paper matching your personality, you are wondering what you could write about. Do you need to have something specific to say to write a letter? Again, Choderlos de Laclos replies to this question in one of his letters. In June 27, 1800, he writes, "Today I have written to you without anything to say, and for my own pleasure only. And it is this way that it is a delicious occupation, or rather a relaxation." Liselotte writes in her book that the bad writing shows contempt for others and shows that you care more for your own time than your reader's time. If your writing can't be elegant and simple, it has to be at least readable. The letter has to be clearly shaped without giant embellishments. You blame a sloppy writing. What would you say about crossing outs and ink stains? Nothing, isn't it? Madame de Genlis was a famous writer in the 18th century. She wrote her memoirs and she was the governess of the Duc d'Orléans' children. She said that everybody should have a motto, and the motto at the end of a letter is a sort of revelation. It should tell whether a little secret or a commitment you would have. I think it was very interesting to read that, and maybe you never found really a motto for you, but it would be really interesting to try to find one. So some of the famous mottos Liselotte writes and mentions in her book about good manners and correspondence. She mentioned a few ones. So le Marquis de Morlaix, Morlaix is in Brittany, and it sounds very much like Morlaix, and Morlaix means by them. And his motto, as you can imagine from knowing that, was S'ils te mordent, mords-les. If they bite you, bite them. So it was pretty simple, pretty funny. The motto always had to be very short with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words maximum. It has to be really short because you could put them whether on your seal wax or on your letter. So I think it's quite interesting to imagine what could be the motto we could find which could embody a bit our personality or a commitment or a secret. The signature has to be simple. Please delete all these bad taste embellishments around your signature which make it look like a big snake. Who will deny the superiority of love letters over any sort of distant communication? In his book, Les Confessions, Jean-Jacques Rousseau mentions a man who left his mistress for the sole purpose of writing passionate letters to her. What can compete with the joy of opening a love letter? In this memoir, le Duc de Lauzun, that you have already met in our Versailles Chronicles series, talks about a correspondence he had with a marquise he loved with passion. He writes, « J'écrivais à toutes les postes à Madame de C. Je craignais que toutes mes lettres l'ennuyassent. Je faisais ce que je pouvais pour qu'elles ne fussent pas longues, et j'y réussissais rarement. Je vivais de ces lettres. Je n'en ai jamais décacheté une sans une joie, une reconnaissance inexprimable. » So this letter is one of the most famous love letters written by Napoleon to Joséphine in 1795, and there is a grammar or spelling mistake at every line. Let's see. Je me réveille plein de toi, ton portrait, S, no, it would be a T here. Et le souvenir de l'enivrante soirée d'hier, hier. There is an S here. Where is this S come from, Napo? No. Non point laissé de repos à mes sens. Douce et incomparable Joséphine, quel effet? Quel effet? No, it's not a feminine word. So he adds LLE. It's just one L. Quel effet? Effet. There is no plural here. There is no plural, it's a singular word. Bizarre, double Z. No, one Z, not double Z. And there is just one R, and you should have added two R, Napo. Une flamme qui me brûle. Flamme, double M, not one M. Il brûle mon sang. So it should be plural here, not singular. Well, so you see, Joséphine, she had to deal with a lot of spelling, grammar, all sorts of mistakes of all kind when she received her love letters. Now, what would you say if you received a love letter filled to the brim with grammar and spelling mistakes like the one Napoleon sent to Josephine? Would you forgive it? Or would you be a little disappointed with it? Because here, Napoleon didn't know that this letter and all the other ones would be read in the future, and all his spelling mistake and grammar mistake would be noticed. Let's go back to Liselotte's recommendation about the wax seal. The elegant woman seals her letter with a wide wax seal, with the color matching the nuance of the paper. On the wax seal, you can have your own initials or any heraldic symbol matching your own motto. Our noble ancestors sealed their letter with wide wax seals with the shape of their family arms, and under the wax you could see some ribbons of different colors which had various meanings that the chatelaine of course could understand. But in 1950 now, we are too much in a hurry and too practical to waste time on these pointless refinements. Well, what would she say about our modern time in the 21st century? No centuries has celebrated letters like the 18th century. Three of the biggest bestsellers in the 18th century are epistolary novels, so novels with only letters inside shared by the different characters. The most famous and biggest success was Clarissa Harlowe by Samuel Richardson. He was the favorite author of Jane Austen. She doesn't mention this novel as a favorite, but rather his very last novel. And this novel has inspired all the other epistolary novels of the century. And it's a huge, huge book. I'm in the process of trying to find an old original edition of Clarissa Harlowe because it's one of my favorite books, one of my favorite novels of all time. But it's huge. And for now, I still have my Penguin Classics edition. But it's a wonderful book if you are ready to read 1,500 pages of letters. So this book has been a big influence of all the other authors of the 18th century, like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who published his Nouvelle Héloïse, Julie ou la Nouvelle Héloïse, which is also a pretty big novel, about 500 pages, also with only letters. And of course, Les Liaisons Dangereuses later, which was also influenced both by La Nouvelle Héloïse and by Clarissa Harlowe. And Laclos, when he created his character Valmont, was very much influenced by Lovelace, the main character of Clarissa Harlowe, the novel. I really recommend all of three of them, at least Les Liaisons Dangereuses and Clarissa are two of my very favorites. La Nouvelle Héloïse is nice if you get in the rhythm of something slow. And the thing, when you are reading novels with letters, so epistolary novels, it's almost like if you were a hidden actor of the story, because you are reading the letters as if you were reading them above the shoulders of the main characters. And I think that is pretty magical, and there is a real magic and mechanic to it. The address on the envelope should be easy to read, very light and disposed with good taste. The name of the receiver should be bigger than the other lines. This video has inspired you to write more letters to your friends and your loved ones. And if you like stationery writing paper, just know that I have a collection of writing paper and online printable stationery that you can find on my website at merveilleenpapier.com/printable stationery. You have the link just below this video. And this first collection was inspired by my Versailles Chronicles winter episodes. that you maybe have seen on my channel. So it includes some writing papers, some envelopes, matching envelopes, of course, as Liselott in her book is explaining that we should always use. So you have two different patterns and two different envelopes. You have, of course, some memo pads of different sizes that you can print and organize your project, your goals, the things you would like to accomplish this winter. So all the theme of everything here is winter and Versailles. So you have here Versailles, which is drawn. It's mainly here a collection I have drawn mainly on paper, using the papers I like to use in my own sculptures and art. In the future, I'm going to mix things with my own sculptures too, but this first collection is only drawn, and it was really a lot of fun going back to drawing. There is also some printable illustration that you can have, like the cathedral from the first episode of the Versailles Chronicle, who was the favorite ship of Madame de Choiseul, the wife of one of the Louis XV's ministers. And well, if you have watched the episode, you know who he is and what he's doing in her life. It was her favorite ship, and he was called Cathedral because he was monstrous, a very, very big ship. And there is also Marie Antoinette's toy seller from the Winter January episode of the Versailles Chronicles that you can also frame and put on your wall. So these are not really to write on, they are to decorate your home, your office, wherever you would like to have them. There is a menu for a royal banquet. Well, you will have all the details if you click on my website. Everything is explained. There is a video showing you all that in details, and you will get two cards, two printed, professionally printed cards in your mailbox. So those you don't print them, they will come directly to you. So you have two cards, two different cards, which also have a Winter Versailles theme. So you have le Duc de Lauzun on his sleigh with his horse, with Versailles behind and the snow falling, and you have the cat in front of the Versailles castle. There is also a gift tag, well, many things, but if you want to know more, if it's your cup of tea, you like this thing, you can go on my website and have more details, more explanations about all that. It is a collection for your own private use that you can use to decorate your home, to use in your office, on your desk. It is not a royalty-free collection, of course. All the rights are reserved and you cannot use it for any professional or commercial purpose. That goes without saying, but I prefer saying it again. And I wanted to thank all those who already got their collection. I thank you very much. I had some very positive feedback, so it's very much appreciated. All the cards of those who purchased their collection last week have been shipped, so they are all on their way to you. And if you are watching this video in the future, you can still go on my website and still see what is available. So still go on merveillenpapier.com/printable stationery and you will see what you can find. So this collection is going to be available till March 25, 2025. So you have 2 months roughly to get it if you are interested. And of course, once you download all the different elements, you can keep them, print them, and well, create really your own set of correspondence. And I had this idea of doing my own correspondence paper because it's very difficult to find. I really struggle to find nice ones and printed in France, not something which would come from the other side of the world and all that. And it was really difficult to find, or I couldn't find something I liked anyway, and there were very limited choice. So I just thought I'm going to do my own, and maybe others will also want to write on those to impress their correspondence, or just to have something just more pleasant to write on. So here, the really nice thing, it's an unlimited set of stationery. You can print it as often as you want, and you can try different papers. Some ladies came back to me to tell me they already tried different papers to experiment a bit, to have maybe some nice paper. Here I try to mainly print it on paper which would work with my ink. Some will work with your fountain pen and your any ink if you are using ink and a quill like me. Some paper will work like that, some others will be a little disappointing. One of the good ways to see if they are going to work or not is if they are very soft. Usually a very soft paper will not make the ink spread. So it's just a tiny tip. It doesn't work 100%, but usually you have better chance to be able to work with to write with your quill if it's something you would like to write with. Anyway, Thank you very much for those who already got their collection. I very much appreciate your support and your interest for that and your encouragements, and I'm going to have other fun things coming in the future. You can subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss all the nice videos coming. You can get your printable stationery if you want to support my work. And for now, I will leave you here and I will see you very soon.